Hard to believe, but it is actually now the penultimate day of the 34th Copa del Rey Mapfre. Top of the table, it's extremely close. It couldn't be closer between Platoon and Azura, locked together on 14 points. Brunello in third, only a point up in Quantum. Quantum had a bad day yesterday, but Doug de Vos should find his pace today, and let's see how it goes.
It was really good to come down and be out with the Quantum guys. You know, they've got a really good team together, and they're all good teams actually. It's really impressive, they're neat boats. When we got out of it a number of years ago, it sort of looked like it was on its last legs, but with the owners that have banded together and pulled it through the recession, it's like there's no better racing around that I can see.
Ed, and life in the coach boat, what's it like?
For me, it's an important part of developing yourself as a good overall sportsman, you know, and just trying to see what you can and learn what you can from off the boat. You definitely see the race in a different way from that position, and you know, it helps you the next time you get on board.
So before the boats docked out this morning, there was a short reception to honour the memory of Pedro Mendonça, the owner of Bigamist, who sailed in the 52s for many years, who died recently.
Pedro was the archetype yachtsman from very early on, fell in love with boats and the sea, and then almost unavoidably you also want to have a TP52.
So race number 6 got away in a lighter sea breeze, lighter conditions that we've seen for the last couple of days. 8 or 9 knots, that meant it was a much more open racetrack. Prevets got away off the left hand end of the line once again. Good start, got out to the left. Meantime, Quantum Racing more to the right. And at the top mark, it was very, very even between the two. Prevets had the inside spot and came round just ahead of Quantum, with Brunello and Platoon just behind. Coming down the run, then, in fact, Brunello got right up to Platoon and through the leeward gate. Leaders through the leeward gate were Preveza, then Quantum, and at the leeward gate, I say, very, very close between Brunello and Platoon. Up the second beat, Preveza led all the way round through the finish line with Quantum in second. Brunello get third and Azura in sixth. So Platoon lead the regatta by 2 points at that point ahead of Azura, and Quantum and Brunello tied on equal points.
You know, Dalton did such a great job. We were in a nice position, and so I think it made me think too much. Terry told me a couple times, just take a big breath and settle down again and kind of get back at it, and that's how it worked.
So race number 7 of this series, well, it was much stronger breeze, against expectation perhaps. The MBAC came in at 12 to 14 knots. Great racing and fantastic conditions. Spooky and Platoon led off the pin end of the line, but very, very close drag race initially between Platoon, Spooky, Allegre, Quantum Racing, all going fantastically well out towards the left. At the very top mark, first time up, Platoon just had the inside overlap ahead of Quantum. Allegre and Brunello close down the run. Quantum Racing went out to the left and took the lead. Meantime, Allegre rolled over the top of Platoon, and from that point really things started to go wrong for Platoon, and they progressively dropped down through the fleet. Allegre and Brunello were head to head through the leeward gate. Up the second beat, well, Quantum Racing were reasonably clear, and then there was an incident between Platoon and Sled. Platoon had to take turns. It was a crossing, a straight port and starboard. Platoon tacked in front of Sled, and the umpires were on the spot, and they had to take a turn. That dropped them 1 place, and then Platoon dropped another place coming down the final run. Ended up in 8th place. Quantum Racing having a fabulous day, second and first. So in the overall standings, then Azura lead into the final day by 2 points ahead of Platoon and Quantum Racing, tied together. What a scenario going into the final day of the Copa del Rey Mapfre.
Leading by 1 point, a bunch of boats very, very packed together, so for sure it's looking forward to a very exciting final day. And hopefully we can make it happen again.
So the intensity and level of competition increases all the time in the 52 Super Series, and that creates more and more work for our umpire.
Yeah, we're having much more calls than on the previous years. A big part due to the number of boats, so it's much more. The racing is much closer than it was, and they're having too many close crosses that we need always to be careful about the safety of the boats, and we cannot ask them to pass 10 centimeters from the other boat, so they have to get used to that kind of racing.
And so the world champions Azura lead into the final day with a 6th and a 5th today. They're on 25 points. Second are Platoon on 26 points, 4 and 8 today. Quantum Racing 2 and 1 today, both the day on 26 as well, and Brunello not far behind on 27. Well, after that exciting and dramatic finale to today, take a deep breath and relax. for tomorrow's the final day of the Copa del Rey. Everything to play for. Azura leading by 2 points ahead of Quantum Racing and Platoon. Anything could happen. Join us tomorrow.